Alright guys, let's review the graphs that you will need to know here. So let's start with the basic supply and demand graph. Here, remember that supply is always upward sloping because the quantity supplied increases whenever the price increases, and demand is downward sloping as the quantity demanded decreases whenever the price increases. Then make sure we have the equilibrium lines, Q1, P1. So let's say substitute in production has a lower price, so therefore we would now want to produce more of the original good. And then there is more demand for that product. So because of a trend. Now the new equilibrium line will be here. Oops. Now we can see that the price will be indeterminate and the quantity will increase, but remember we can also analyze that separately. So D going up equals price going up and quantity going up. Now with the supply going up, we know the price will go down and quantity will go up. Therefore, our final answer is price is indeterminate and quantity will for sure increase. Now, this graph doesn't really relate to the other one, so just make sure you review a little bit complementary, substitute goods in production and consumption, these shifts, double shifts, that's it. Now, next one, PPC. There, remember we have to differentiate between bought out. So let's say we have consumer goods and capital goods. Remember, capital goods is what we use to produce something else, such as tools and machinery. Now with an increasing opportunity cost, that means if we're producing one of the other good, we have to give up increasingly more of the other good. Then we also have the constant PPC, which we use for comparative advantage calculations, because otherwise we couldn't do ratios, right? Mathematically speaking, if we don't have a straight slope. Now, in order to indicate long-term economic growth, we would just shift this outward. Now, we can link that to other graphs, such as the aggregate demand and supply graph. Let's say we're starting out in long-run equilibrium. AD, SRAS, LRAS. Remember where SAS and AD intersect, that is our actual output. This is our potential output at full employment, which is YF. Our GDP, price level. Always write it out on your axes just to be on the safe side. And then PL1. Now in this scenario, in order to replicate that here, we will just shift the LAS outward, and then that's it. Okay, now the next graph where we can show that is the Phillips curve. So here we have inflation, because remember that shows us the short run trade-off between the inflation and unemployment rate, which we do not have in the long run, which is why LRPC is vertical. This is our SRPC. And here's the NERU, the non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment, which is more or less the same as the natural rate of unemployment. In real life, there's differences, but for our purposes, let's just treat them as the same. Yeah, so here, this is not necessarily where we're at right now. Remember, it could just be any specific point here. So you would just label any point here, do the dotted lines, and then put the specific values on the side. Now in this case, remember, this represents output at the natural rate of unemployment, which is, by the way, structural plus frictional unemployment. Now, if we can produce more sustainably in the long run, it's safe to assume that the natural rate of unemployment would be lowered. So LRPC would move or shift to the left. And that's it.